It's We Are the In Crowd, and that was back in March 8th, 2014. We got there, oh god, we got there pretty, like, early-ish, but we didn't go to the line until we had to. Maybe like an hour before we had to go in. We got in there, and like I was actually quite confused on how the whole process was going to work, as I'm sure most people usually get when they hear meet and greet and eat. You don't get that very often, like with bands. Like, you'll be like, if you get meet and greets, and then there's meet and greet and eat. What? So, yeah, I went in there, and the manager stood us along the wall, and then he was like kind of giving us the rules of what we can do and what we can't. And when I was listening to him, I noticed how much different they were, like, to like all-time low meet and greets. It was insane. I was like they even said something like, even if you like jokingly act inappropriate with them, you're gonna get kicked out. I'm like, wow. Considering the fact that all-time low is the ones acting inappropriate towards you, it's kind of like, what the hell is that? But yeah, it was just weird. So he was like, there's gonna be the signing. It was the signing part, because I didn't even know there was a signing part. But you get the signing, your pizza, and then the meet and greet part. And I was like, well, okay, I didn't even know there was a signing part. So that was cool. And no pressure, but I was the first person to go through the signing. I freaked the fuck out, like hyperventilated, because he was like, because I saw the tables, and he's like, well, I'm gonna leave, and they'll be here in just a few moments, and yeah. And then I looked over to Alex, my boyfriend, and my friend, and I'm like, I'm fucking first. Oh my god, what the hell? What? And I started freaking out. I'm like, why? I didn't sign up for this shit. Like, I just wanted to do it. Well, they came out, and I don't remember who was in what order, because it was such a clusterfuck, because they all were talking to me at the same time. If I remember correctly, it was Cameron, sorry, I'm having a brain fart. What's his name? Cameron, Mike, Tay, Rob, Jordan, in that order. Maybe Mike and Rob were switched, I don't remember. But regardless, I just remember walking up, and they were all kind of like, hey, And they were like, how are you? I'm like, what? Because it had literally been like pouring out for like the hour that I was standing outside, and I got stuck in the part where because this venue has no roof. Yeah, stupid. So I got soaking wet. I'm just like, great, I'm gonna fucking look like crap when I meet them now. So I walk up, and I'm just like, yeah, wet. They're like, yeah, yeah. And then I think it was Mike was like, how does it feel to be number one? I'm like, are you fucking serious? I was just like, it's amazing. And it was great. And but yeah, Jordan's like, so I take it you were outside most of the day? Because it had been raining like all day. But I was like, yeah, been here since like noon. Because I actually had been there since like noon or 1 or something like that. Because me and my boyfriend hung out in Seattle for a little while first. And he's like, oh, well, I hope you don't get sick. And I'm like, oh, Lord, you speak. So then I walked over, got my pizza, ate my pizza. And my boyfriend and I met up again. And I'm like, I'm gonna fucking throw up. And he's like, Megan, you'll be fine. I don't think it's that bad. I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. There's just something in me. Something doesn't feel right. I'm a little bit nervous right now, because I wasn't expecting them to be this social. And then it was just like, what? And then they all, got their food too. And then they got the tables out of the room. And then they came back for the meet and greet part, and we went to Cameron first, and the funny thing about it was my boyfriend was still trying to learn the names of everybody, like, because he was just kind of going for my sake, and he was like, because he liked the music, but he didn't know the names or anything, so he was like the whole way there, so what are the names again, and I don't know why, but he kept calling Jordan Jonathan for whatever reason. And I'm like, and so we're standing there. I'm like, he's like, so this is Cameron, right? I'm like, yeah. And whatever you do not call Jordan Jonathan. And I apparently was a lot louder than I thought I was. Because then Cameron goes, oh no, do. Just so we can see what happens. And I'm like, no. And then my boyfriend's like, I hate you so much. I was just like, yeah. And then, so we walk up to him, and I don't really remember what happened, but I was just kind of like, hey, getting it signed. Took my selfie real quick, and it was over. And I do not have him on here, so why am I pulling my stuff out? But, oh my god, our expressions. So yeah, and then, after him, we went to Mike, and Mike was like total geek status. Like, I don't know why. I always kind of pictured him as the nerd of the group, and I didn't even know that he was literally the nerd of the group. Like, so when he like said that, I was like, whoa. I totally called that one. And, yeah, he was like, so out of like have you guys ever done meet and greets with other bands before? I'm like, well, yeah, all time low. And he goes, so out of that, like, which one's better? I'm like, well, and this other girl goes, well, there's pizza. I'm like, fair enough. I almost was like, I don't know. She saved me. And I was just like, true, there is pizza. And you guys are more social, so... Though you know what, All Time Low is pretty social. It was very hard for me. I was like, how could he ask me such a question? And yeah, and then we took our picture. He signed the thing, and it was over with. And I made like a collage, by the way, before I forget. I made like a thing. It was like, because I had seen them on Work Tour in 2012, and so I made this collage of like a picture of each of them that I took, and then it has, We're the In Crowd on it, and it says we're all just weird kids in the end underneath, and it was like this huge thing. And so Mike was like, oh my god, Jordan, look at your fucking tan. And like, because like it was the last day of Work Tour, so Jordan was like almost black, like that's how tan he was. And it was just funny because he's like, dude, look at you. It's like, what? So white. And what? And then he was like laughing about it. Yeah, it was great. And then I actually, ironically, went to Jordan next. And yeah, I gave it to him. And he's like, oh my god, I do look tan. And he's like, dude, I hope my hair's that awesome this year and I'm that tan this year again. That would be nice. And I'm like, I know, right? Wouldn't it? And I'm like, except for I remember the fact that, your legs were peeling, so you looked like a leopard. And he's like, yeah, I don't want that again. And he was just like, no, I'm good. And then I explained to him how I was supposed to go to their Portland Warped Tour signing and the whole thing. I'm like, well, I was supposed to go to the Seattle signing, and then I ran out of time, and I didn't get to go, and I was like, well, you know what, I'll go tomorrow, I'm going to be there tomorrow, no big deal. I get there, and the fucking signing gets canceled. He's like, our signing got canceled. I'm like, okay, remember they all got canceled because Warped Tour was being an asshole, and they didn't make an emergency exit, and so then they were like, oh, there's a fire hazard, we gotta cancel everything. And then he was like, shit, yeah, I do remember that. And he's all like, that fucking sucked. That venue sucked. That day sucked. Everybody was tired. Everything fucking sucked. I was like, I know, I was there. Everything fucking sucked. Like, you had to be there. If you were there, it sucked. Like, it was a good concert when there wasn't all the drama, but it fucking sucked. Like, I'm sorry. So, yeah, we were going on about that, and he was like, are we playing at the Gorge this year, which is like a huge amphitheater in Washington? I'm like, no. For some reason, Vans Warped Tour got banned from that venue because of vandalism or some shit, so now you guys are at White River again. And he's like, alright. It was really funny. So him and I were bonding over Warped Tour. We took our picture, and he signed that collage. And it was over with. And then I went to Tay, and she wasn't very, like, she didn't have, I don't know, other than hi, she was not very, she didn't really say much. I don't know if it was just trying to reserve her voice. But my God, she's so little. Holy crap. Like, I never really, like, I knew she was short, but my God, she is so short. Like, she made me feel tall, and I typically feel shorter. I'm like Jordan, I felt super short, and then I went to her, and I'm like, okay, I feel a little better now. My God, it was funny. I was just like, oh, like, little itty bitty. So yeah, we did, it was like basically a quick, hey, picture, all that. Then I went to Rob, and I was like, hey, so yeah, I've met you before. You probably don't remember, but you're the only one I've met. He's like, oh yeah? And I'm like, yeah, Warped Tour, ran India, just randomly. And he was like, huh. I'm like, yeah, I saw you 2 days in a row, too. And I remember you gave my friend a drumstick and gave me a set list because, you saw us or whatever. And he's like, huh, interesting. And I'm like, I knew that was like that. I don't remember that, but whatever. I was just bringing it up because I was in the random mood. But, yeah, and then I took my picture and stuff with him. And then my boyfriend walked up. And ironically, if you guys went to any of the meet and greet meets, you know how the big poster looked. Well, when I went and printed my boyfriend a picture out for the thing, it was like almost identical to that picture. So you could tell it was from the same photo shoot, but it was a different picture. Oh my God, the amount of laughs. Rob, he's like, okay, this picture, just saying, should not be on the internet. I'm like, well, you literally type Weird Al Crowd 2014. It's the first picture that comes up on Google. And he's like, what the hell, man? Like, look at this. Like, our poster right here is the legitimate thing. This is edited. And here's how you know. Look at Mike's face. The expression is completely changed. Look at my pants. They're black in this one, and they're green in this one. And I'm just like, oh my fucking God. And it was like so funny. Like, he was pointing out all these things. He's like, I should sue. I'm like, you're gonna sue Google over a picture? He's like, I don't know, maybe I will. It was really funny. I was just like, no, Rob, I don't think you can do that. Sorry. Oh my God, it was hilarious. So yeah, that went over, and then the show went on, and oh my God, it was amazing. Because William Beckett played about a girl, m&e&g, and that was the only song I knew because I don't know any of his stuff. So when he played all of it, I'm like, oh, here I am pretending. And then he was like, I'm gonna do an m&e&g song. I'm like, oh my God, I just freaked out. I didn't think he was gonna do that one though, so that made it even better. God, it was a good day. And yeah, and I got Cameron's guitar pick too. You see, God, sorry, I'm like, I must show you. It's sadly, he doesn't have any special design, so you can't you might be like, you're a liar, it's not his. But this one, and yeah, I was just like, that's awesome as all hell. I only got it though because there was a bunch of pics on the stage, after it was over, and my boyfriend had Jordans, and I'm like, what the fuck? Give me that. He's like, fuck you. No, I'm using it. I'm like, no, give me that. And we got into a huge argument. And then the guy on the fucking stage was picking them all up, and my boyfriend's like, can you just give her one of those? And he's like, fine. And he gives it to me, and I'm like, I love you. It was funny. So, yeah, good day. This is really long. So I'm going to get going. To cut this post on YouTube, and I'm gonna record my last meet and greet thing, and then I'm gonna post all of them on YouTube. So please subscribe, do whatever. That's the band YouTube. So there's a lot of concerts and stuff, and eventually there'll be covers on there too of stuff I can do. So yeah, thanks you guys.